Have you noticed how when you go to a new place, especially if you're on holiday, all your senses come alive? There are new smells, new sounds, new sights, new textures, feelings, sensations. Of course, if you're on holiday, then you're in a different mindset anyway. You're off duty, you're there to relax, to release all your stresses, and you're open. You're open to exploring, to being curious. Everything is new, right? There's no barriers up. And you don't have to go very far for this to happen. You can just go to anywhere that's new that you haven't been before. Somewhere where you don't have the rigid groove set patterns already in place. This is why, even if you take a different walk from your house, this is going to create new neural pathways and light up new places in our brain. If you have a laptop and you've taken it out and about with you and you sit and work in a different environment, suddenly new ideas come, new inspiration comes. Now, I work through the body and through movement and through somatics and dance. And you're like, okay, this is all really interesting. Yes, I'd love to be more creative. Yes, I love the idea of being more comfortable in my body. I love dance, but I'm just not very good at it. This is nothing to do with what you see on TV. This is nothing to do with performance. If anything, it's the opposite. This is about reconnecting to yourself. And it's a learning that comes from your whole body experience. So when you're in a new place, you're relaxed, you're open. It's a full sensory experience. And literally every pore, every cell of your being is kind of drinking in all these new experiences. Now, can you imagine if you have this level of heightened awareness and perception in your normal everyday life, how much more inspired you could be? You'd start to have a spring in your step. You'd start to be more curious. Everything would become more alive. Colours would become sharper. You'd listen to sounds more. You'd enjoy music more. Maybe you'd relax and laugh more easily. This is what can happen when you drop back in and reconnect with yourself on a deeper level. In the previous video, I talked about how we protect ourselves with our body armour, right? And we do it for a reason. We do it to keep safe. We do it to feel held. But we're also cutting off a little bit of our openness and receptiveness to life. We're cutting off a little bit of our life force. And in cutting it off physically, this becomes something that happens to us mentally as well. So the first movement that we have, in fact, is with our breath. Okay? So I invite you now just to experience the movement of your breath. So staying connected to the ground with your feet connected to the earth, just getting a sense of your shape and being in space, getting a sense of your pelvis in space, your spine and your torso, your shoulders, getting a sense of your neck and your skull. And imagine there's this invisible thread that goes from the top of your skull all the way up to the sky. Okay? Now, as you inhale through your nose, just sense into the breath traveling down into your body. Now you might want to try just to begin with when you inhale. You can use your hands to help illustrate how the breath opens and exhale. So I'm going to move back a little bit. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. So imagine your breath going through your body out into your palms and going out beyond your hands, so that the inhalation is filling all of you from the inside. Exhale, as you exhale, that breath travels all the way up, anything that you don't need, traveling through us. And it's creating this whole ripple effect. It's filling our lungs. It's oxygenating our blood. Our blood travels through our whole body, feeding it with nourishment, feeding it with oxygen, growing new blood cells. So with this movement of breath in, it's creating this whole cascading effect. If we breathe properly, we're also moving the intercostal muscles between our ribs. Our diaphragm is dropping, so that then the organs are getting massaged. So our breath can ripple through and vibrate and cleanse our whole body. And that's even before we do any physical movement, right? That's just standing still. Breathing properly means that you're going to invite in all this movement internally. So I invite you to Just think about that as we do it again 3 times, inhale and exhale, and just get a sense of the breath that is traveling through your whole body. Okay? Inhale, exhale. You can visualize almost how the breath is lighting you up all the different parts of you. And then as you exhale, you're exhaling out anything that doesn't serve you. Okay? Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Now this can actually gradually become a dance, but that's for another video. Okay? Just for now, just to become aware of this first movement of our breath. And before we start to move, there is another movement that happens within us, and that is of our thoughts. The minute we have certain thoughts, our brain fires off signals, right, through our synapses, through into pulsations and signals through our nervous system to instruct our organs, our muscles. If we're worried and if we get stressed, our brain sends signals to our body to be on high alert. Suddenly our body is pumping this cortisol through our body, right? Our breath shortens as we get anxious. We might be ready to run because something's dangerous, right? All this internal movement is happening just with our thoughts. Now we also might sense danger from sounds we hear, seeing something on the ground, footprints or whatever. The point is, before we even physically do any movement, from certain signals that turn into interpretations and thoughts, this connects to our body and all this different movement is happening within us. Similarly, if we hear some music that reminds us of a happy time, if we smell something, if we see a photo, this sends messages to our brain, this sends messages to our body. Suddenly our body becomes more relaxed, we feel more at ease. Our body might start pumping hormones, oxytocin, serotonin, all feel-good hormones because we're in a happy place. And when we start to become more aware of this internal movement within us, when our thoughts start racing, when our heart starts beating too fast, when our breath gets too shallow, we can start to get a sense of being more connected to ourselves, and from that place we can start to take ownership of our actions. We can take responsibility. We can learn to just take a step back and take a pause. We can recognize when we're starting to feel a bit dull or flat, and we can start to look at why. And that's not a bad thing, because then from that place we can learn how to have agency in our lives. If you have any comments, anything you'd like to add to this, I'd love to hear. Tell me what you thought of this video and see you in the next one.